S.S.S. Vayikra, Tavshin Pei. Good afternoon, everybody. We're giving our share in the afternoon because, as everybody knows, the schedules have been upended. Everyone's schedule. This is our second week having to do the share away from our headquarters at Bikur Cholim of Lakewood. And we're hoping that Bikarav will be able to get back together, and everyone, Klal Yisrael, will be able to get back together. But once again, we're going to give the shir this week not about coronavirus. And we're going to speak about our parsha in the regular way that we do. And we'll just mention a couple of points at the end of the shir about what is really going on today. And it'll be based on the Nesivos Shalom that we're saying in this week's parsha. And we begin Seder Vayikra with the psukim Vayikra el Moshe Vayidaber Hashem Elov me'ohel me'ed le'moer. There's a calling out to Moshe Rabbeinu from the Ohel Moed. Adam ki yakriv mikem, a person who brings from themselves Korban Lashem. The beginning of Seder Vayikra, the new Seder which we are beginning right now this week. And the Nesivos Shalom brings from the Beis Avram an explanation as to why Vayikra here is written B'Lashon Nistar. And there's a lot of Torah, a lot of Mefarshim written about this. But the Beis Avram says that Vayikra, we know, it doesn't say who called out to Moshe Rabbeinu. Vayikra, there was a calling. And the Beis Avram says that what we could learn from this, not telling us who was calling out to Moshe Rabbeinu, we could learn that it alludes to this baskol. There is a baskol that we know that comes out, it emanates each and every day, and it calls out to Klal Yisrael. Chazal tell us that baskol yotzes mehar chorev comes out from Har Sinai, and it asks Klal Yisrael, shuvu vanim shoivavim. Klal Yisrael, return, Hashem's beloved children, return to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And it is really a call that emanates and speaks to the heart in each and every Jew. And the Baal Shem Tov, Zchus Yogan Aleinu, asks about this baskol that comes out every day. The Baal Shem Tov asks, if it comes out, why don't we actually hear this voice? Why don't we hear this baskol speaking to us? And if the point is that we should not hear it, why does it emanate at all? Why does this baskol come out? I mean, if it's coming out, let's hear it. Let's at least hear the voice. And the Baal Shem Tov explains, and he says, while we may not audibly hear this voice, we don't hear this baskol, but it is a koil, it is a voice that stirs the heart of each and every person. And it's his iris that gives a Jew inspiration from time to time. We know that even Jews who are far from home and far from being observant, they also, every person gets this feeling of inspiration from time to time that I want to be better. I want to do things differently. And it is those feelings of inspiration that come from this baskol. This baskol that emanates every single day, we are getting feelings, and we have these feelings that come, although it's not audible, and it's not through our ears, but it's a baskol, it's a voice that goes straight to the soul of a Jew. And that is Pshat, says in Nesivos Shalom from the Beis Avram, in Vayikra el Moshe, how B'Lashon Nistar, that this call that Hashem sends out to each specific person, this inaudible call that comes out, it's talking specifically to you as a person. That's what Moshe Rabbeinu was hearing now. Moshe Rabbeinu was hearing his calling, that it was his time to do something. As the Gemara Masechta Yuma Daf Daled Amud Beis tells us that Moshe Shama, Moshe heard this, V'chol Yisrael lo shama. The whole of Klal Yisrael did not hear this voice because it was that voice specifically telling Moshe Rabbeinu, this is your calling. This is your time to be inspired. It's a voice that speaks to each person very directly and very personally. And the word Vayikra, as famously we know, the word Vayikra in the Sefer Torah is written with a small aleph. The last letter of the word Vayikra, aleph, is a small aleph in the Torah. And without that aleph, the word reads Vayikar. And it, as in something just an occurrence, a happening, a mikre, something that is happening. And what it's telling us, says in Nesivos Shalom, it's telling us that every happening, every Vayikar, every happening that happens to a person in his life, in their life, every happening is actually a Vayikra. It's not just happening. Things don't happen around us for no reason. Every Vayikar, every happening is actually a Vayikra, a calling that is calling out to each individual and about their life, about your life. It's a message to you specifically from Hashem. Yes, in a very quiet way. It's not meant for everyone else to think about. It's not meant for everyone else to hear. It's a small aleph, just a small message, and it's really incumbent on each and every person to listen to and accept your own messages. And as we say many times, trying to get others to do your things is not acceptable. It's very easy for people to think they're hearing messages and to actually get messages and say that they pertain to everybody else. Your life and your messages and your things and your voices that you hear have nothing to do with anyone else. It has nothing to do with anyone else's life. You have to get your quiet messages. For anyone else, it's a wrong fit. And many times, the Nesivos Shalom says, the thing that you have the most difficulty with in your life, it's a good indication that that is the message that Hashem wants to get to you. That is what Hashem is talking to you about. That's for you to listen to. Your nisoyan. Because we don't know really what our tafkid in life is. We can assume, we can try to figure it out. But says in the Nesivos Shalom that when Hashem makes something difficult for us, that's a pretty good indication that Hashem is talking to you. Vayikar, these things are happening, but it's a Vayikra. In a quiet way, it is talking, it's sending a message to you. And the Pasuk says in our Parsha, Adam ki yakriv mikem karbon lashem. Mikem means from yourself, from you. That is Adam ki yakriv mikem karbon lashem. If you give from yourself, you sacrifice yourself, then it becomes a karbon lashem. When you know what's difficult for you, and you fight for the things that are toughest for you, and you say, I'm going to do this for Hashem, I'm going to work on those midos, I'm going to work on those mitzvahs, I'm going to work on things that are difficult for me. Adam ki yakriv mikem, you sacrifice from yourself, karbon lashem. Then you're giving Hashem exactly what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to see. You're giving Hashem what He wants to receive from you. You're getting the message from Hashem, and you're understanding at that moment your tafkid, and you're bringing your sacrifice, your mitzvah of Parshas Vayikra, your karbon, you're bringing to Hashem. And said to Nesivos Shalom something very interesting, that many times the Yetzer Hara will even convince you to do many mitzvahs and masim tovim. But as long as you don't do your tafkid, as long as you don't do what you're supposed to be working at, as long as you don't do what your job in life, the Yetzer Hara is thrilled. He's very happy. He'll throw so many mitzvahs, masim tovim, everything in your way. You'll do everyone else's job. You'll be the biggest Baal Chesed. You'll do so many things, but anything, just that you should miss that Vayikra. that voice, the thing that's telling you what your job in this world really is. Don't worry about everyone else. Take care of yourself first, and of course you could be a Baal Chesed and help other people, but don't miss the boat. And sometimes Hashem gives a person what would on the surface seem like he gives you an inherent bad midah. That's part of a person. But actually, the Nesivos Shalom tells us it's given to you to use those lessons and turn it around and use it l'toiv, to sacrifice and work on yourself, work on the things of Adam ki yakriv mikem. You have a midah that's not so positive, that's not so great, work on it. Adam ki yakriv mikem. Work from yourself. And the Rashi Tevos of the word mikem, from yourself, are midah keneged midah. Take those midos, work on them, turn it around. Use the midah that you have that supposedly is not something that's not so good. Use it and turn it around and use it for avodas Hashem. Make it better. Work on it. Midah keneged midah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will be thrilled with you. He'll give back to you. You're giving to Hashem. Hashem will give back to you. Use your message that you're getting. Use the small indications and voices that you're getting from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the things that are happening around you, and use them to take care of your tafkid in life. Just to end off, we need to think about a little bit the huge message that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has sent to the world with this coronavirus. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is definitely telling us something, but we have to understand somehow it looks like, Nevios may have come back into the world. There are people who are telling us it's because of this and it's because of that and it's this. I certainly don't know. I'm certainly not on that level, and I'm certainly not here to tell you why it's here. But the message that we just learned from the Nesivos Shalom is a very, very important message. That the reason it's here for you is probably not the same reason it's there for your neighbor or your friend or somebody else that you know. HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent a huge thing to the world. It's sending out 1,000,000 messages at a time. But just realize that if every person goes ahead and does a little thing that they are supposed to work on, then we're probably doing the right thing for ourselves. We're probably giving HaKadosh Baruch Hu what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from us at this point. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants individual things. He wants each and every person to understand what can we each do a little better. And before you start saying that Klal Yisrael has to do this, and my neighbors definitely have to do that, and the other people in my family have to do this, understand that there's a Vayikra. There are small messages. There's a message, Vayikar. There's a happening. There's an occurrence. There's something going on in the world which nobody has ever seen, and hopefully will never see again, but it's here. But it's not necessarily speaking to us only on a communal level. It's speaking to each person quietly, individually. I know for myself, try to use this time. There are sfarim, there are things that I never thought I'd get a chance to even look at and learn. There are opportunities this week. We have a lot of time on our hands. We have time to bond with the family. We have time to make a phone call to somebody older, somebody that's quarantined alone, for somebody that's not faring this crisis maybe as well as you are, for someone that needs a little more financial help at this point. There's so many opportunities to reach out, but in a way that without all the noise of work and everything that goes on around us, there are certain things that we can do now that in the hustle and bustle of our life we don't do. But it's individual. Each person, says in Nesivos Shalom, has their Vayikar happenings in their life. Vayikra. It's talking to you quietly. Let us all hope that very soon we'll be able to all be back together, and hope that those that need a refuah shalema will have it, and that we should all be zoicha to fulfill our tafkid in life, and very, very soon, speedily in our days, be zoicha to greet Mashiach Tzidkenu, Bimheira v'yameinu, Amen.